So now it's my pleasure to introduce the two groups of speakers that we're going to be having today. And I think you're going to understand their real relevance because, again, we try to focus the speakers in areas that are of great interest to the university, sometimes focusing very specifically in areas where the board is putting its activity. So today we're going to have presentations on biomedical engineering and innovation and entrepreneurship because we really want to spotlight those particular initiatives because they fit so well, not only with the focus of the board, but clearly they're a major part of our strategic future in Carolina and the way that we interface not only with the greatest advances in the nation, but also have real direct impacts here in the state and in the country. So we're going to spotlight the Joint Biomedical Engineering program, which I think just received last year its Bachelor of Science degree, joint degree with NC State University, which we're very proud of. Those are unusual to have these joint degrees, especially down to the level of undergraduates. That's not common, and it's really a testament to the hard work of everybody here. And it's really a way that you de-silo, and in de-siloing, you can make yourself stronger. And then we'll do innovation and entrepreneurship, where you're really going to hear more as a little bit of a build-up to encouraging everybody to come to the Chancellor's Innovation Summit this on Thursday and Friday. The biomedical engineering is our first. It's going to be, we're inviting Nancy Albritton here, who, as you all know, is the professor and chair of the UNC-NCSU Joint Department of Biomedical Engineering. We have heard from Nancy in different forums. The more I've gotten to know Nancy, the more I'm so excited every single time I meet with her because I know I'm going to hear so many new things, but she's also going to introduce me every single time to students and postdocs and faculty members who are colleagues. We asked her who she'd like to bring, and she is bringing with her Dr. Frances Ligler, the Lampe Distinguished Professor of BME at NCSU. She's also brought two students with her. I think someone might be stuck in traffic still. Is that? Oh, no, they're both here. Okay, great. John Larson, who's an undergraduate BME student here at UNC, and Michaela Rickard, an undergraduate BME student at NC State University. So, welcome.
Thank you. And we really appreciate the opportunity. We want to thank the Chancellor and the Board for coming out, our ability to come out and tell you about biomedical engineering. And so today I'm going to tell you about our efforts to bridge medicine and engineering, UNC and NC State. And the way I like to introduce the students is, this is John from our Raleigh facility, also known as NC State, from our Chapel Hill facility, also known as UNC, and Michaela from our Raleigh facility, also known as NC State. So to tell you a bit about biomedical engineering, it's really about bridging various boundaries. The first is bridging traditional research boundaries, really bringing different disciplines together to improve and have an enormous impact on human life. And yet this is a stunning example of helping an amputee to walk. Mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, physiology, neuroscience, all combined together to benefit an amputee. BME also spans traditional academic boundaries, bringing together the College of Arts and Sciences, the School of Medicine, and the College of Engineering, all together in a single partnership. And we believe this provides amazing value to our students as well as a blockbuster education. Perhaps the most important thing about BME is it really enables better human lives. An example is integrated assay systems, faster, cheaper, easier, more reliable diagnostics, novel imaging technologies that are less invasive, lower in cost, regenerative medicine, replacement parts. We're probably all interested in these about now. And in bridging across all of these boundaries, academic and research, we're also well positioned to form powerful inter-university partnerships. Just one example is the Rehabilitation Engineering Corps, restoring lost function to disabled people, stroke victims, military veterans, bridging clinical sciences, arts and sciences departments with the College of Engineering. Another partnership is the pharmacoengineering program, spanning the School of Pharmacy and the College of Engineering, better drug delivery, another thing we'd all enjoy. And to point this out, we were one of the winners of the UNC-GA Research Opportunities Initiative last year held by GA. And I think when we have this collaborative, really transdisciplinary interacting groups, we're well positioned to attract very large-scale grants. A couple of our latest are the NIH Resource Center, and then we're also receiving a large NIH transformative grant for blockbuster and breakthrough research. Furthermore, we also embed entrepreneurship at all levels. So really, what we want to do is make ourselves economically worth the investment. So these are a listing of all the companies our faculty, our students have launched in their careers. You'll note that our students alone, our undergraduates, have launched 6 spin-out companies out of their design projects. So it's not just great discoveries, it's about a really great return on the investment dollar for the state. BME is also working to really build the innovation leaders for the state of North Carolina and really the leaders for biotechnology. This is one of our undergraduate programs for the biomedical engineers where they develop their own ideas, they pitch their ideas, and we give them seed money to translate their technology, do the prototypes, et cetera, and we're even looking to provide them with some startup space. Foundations, entrepreneurship, all is good as long as we're impacting people in the real world. This is one of our great examples, made the CBS Morning News, Jeff Powell. And so he'll tell you about the Helping Hands project. We're keying up the video. So as the video plays, you'll see that this was all actually done in our BME undergraduate laboratories using the 3D printing facilities. And Jeff has actually taken this project now to start a foundation so that they are generating more sophisticated hands, but also helping additional people.
Thinks that hand is pretty cool.
I look like a robot.
Okay. The project began in the lab this summer with a UNC student's interest in 3D printing.
Once the process is efficient, we can make these hands for less than $20 worth of materials.
$20 to print a prosthetic body part like you would a research paper, from computer to printer with the click of a mouse.
If you've ever seen one of those funnels that you load icing into and then squeeze it and draw icing out onto a cake, it's kind of the same concept.
Now out of the lab and into the adventurous life of a 7-year-old. What can this plastic hand do for Holden?
I wonder if you could tie your shoe with it.
Holden's left hand is deformed due to a birth defect, but he says that doesn't hold him back.
I'm perfect one-handed.
And now he's learning how to be perfect two-handed.
I'm bending my hand like this.
Holden is also helping Jeff figure out what can be improved.
Because they all move at the same time, it's not like you can do one individually.
Jeff says he's happy to help. In fact, he's trying to start a nonprofit to give more children like Holden a hand.
And since this school has, taught me the ability to do this and I have access to these resources, then I'm glad to help out in any way I can. Yeah.
Reporting in Chapel Hill, I'm Kristen Ruffin.
So we have other BME students that are being recognized for their innovation, as evidenced by the fact that our undergraduates are winning all sorts of national competitions. The BME students are also solving real-world problems, as evidenced by their large invention disclosures, provisional patents, licensing negotiations, and multiple startups. And really what we want to focus on for the rest of this session is our innovative, transformative interinstitutional programs. This is the old BME, where we had separate degrees. And if you're tracking the U.S. News and Observer, a year ago we started working on our joint degree. Our degree has been awarded, and now we're moving full speed ahead. This summer, we actually held a strategic planning event, bringing together faculty, staff, and students. We convinced the Dean of Engineering at Purdue University to come and spend an entire week with us as we build and develop this joint program. And 2 of the students that played key roles are standing here before you, and so I'm going to let them tell you all about their great work in building this undergraduate program. So, Michaela.
Absolutely. So we're in the process of creating this really innovative joint undergraduate program between NC State and UNC, and it was important for us to get faculty and students together to discuss that vision and where we see the department going. So John and I were part of that process, and what we really came out of that discussion were these three pillars that make our BME program successful, and those were academic excellence, community, and professional development, and John will touch on those in just a minute. But some of these core values that kept coming up in our discussion and that Dr. Albritton has already mentioned, innovation was key, and it's really at the heart of biomedical engineering because it bridges that gap between medicine and engineering and science. So it's an opportunity for great innovative ideas, and those come about through collaborations, and that's a lot of the reasons that this joint program was created, to bring together the strengths and resources of both universities. And then those innovative ideas and collaborations ultimately lead to translating those ideas into medical devices, into healthcare solutions, into startup companies that can really revolutionize the healthcare industry. And so what makes our program unique? And as we've already mentioned, it is an extremely unique undergraduate program. There are certainly joint programs at the graduate level, but there are no joint programs at the undergraduate level that bridge to universities. This really is the first of its kind in the country. And what we want to be known for and what we want to stand out as part of that is collaboration. Not only collaboration between the universities, but collaboration with industry and really utilizing our strengths here in the Research Triangle, building strong relationships with the industry and also clinicians in the wonderful hospitals that we have access here to in the Triangle. So some things we really highlight with our curriculum are more semesters of design, incorporating industry culture, whether that's through internships, research, or co-ops, and again, highlighting entrepreneurship and innovation through our senior design program. And again, the result is world-class collaboration and innovation that our joint program becomes known for. One of the ways that we highlight this is through our 3D curriculum. And so our students go on to a number of different careers. It's a very diverse field. We have students that go straight into industry, some that go on to graduate school and stay in academia, others that go on to professional school, may go to medical school, law school, go for an MBA. So there are a diverse range of careers that our students will pursue, and we want them to be able to prepare for those diverse careers. And so we offer a flexible plan with these three dimensions. So the first dimension is the foundation, the basic science, math, and engineering skills that really set up every student for success. The second dimension are the professional skills that they develop through extracurricular experiences, through co-op, through research. And then the third dimension are the areas of emphasis that we offer in our curriculum that allow students to specialize with a unique skill set. We identified these key attributes that our students graduate that really allowed them to be so successful in a highly interdisciplinary and collaborative field. But we think this is best highlighted by one of our senior design teams from last year, who was a combination of students from NC State and Chapel Hill. And I think this really demonstrates the type of innovation that is possible with these collaborations.
That will result in a bit more of an adaptive grip. So, for example, if you want to be picking up eggs and things like that, where you need the fingers to sort of close around in a variable manner based on the geometries of the
NC State.
For a need that was prevalent in the neurosurgery department, and we found a solution to a big problem. So we started shadowing in the neurosurgery unit over at UNC's hospital.
We followed around the neurosurgeons, got to see some brain surgeries, got to talk to a couple patients, talk to some of the nurses, see what kind of problems they thought needed fixing in the hospital.
And we found that there was no accurate way to drain and monitor ICP pressures and external ventricular drains.
The current system is a completely manual device. The nurses have to come in every single hour to stop this drainage system so that they can take a pressure reading. And you only get one of those pressure readings per hour.
And for the rest of that hour, they had no idea what the pressure was doing inside the brain. We at Wolfram Innovations present Saga. Saga monitors the patient's pressure 24/7. It's like a nurse that never leaves your side. Saga connects to the catheter in the patient's head and attaches to the IV pole. The fluid flows through the tubing and drains into a bag. The system continuously monitors the pressure and decides to drain or not to drain all by itself. No nurse necessary. The system will connect to the patient monitor and display the trending data for doctors and nurses to assess.
Our device will provide a continuous and personal treatment.
We are currently filing a provisional patent. Our team has won a number of competitions, and so that money will go towards marketing our device, finding investors, and moving to the next stages of development.
Okay, so obviously we think we have great students. They're doing all this impactful thing, innovation and entrepreneurship already. So we think, how can we improve these students' education through our program? So we came up with these 3 pillars, as we touched on earlier: academic excellence, community, and professional development. First is academic excellence. Obviously these students are here in academia to learn something. So we want to create a joint collaboration through the universities that will really impact these students' education. And to do this, we're in the process of creating student IDs for both campuses. So like Dr. Albritton said, we'll be students at a facility, not at one campus or the other. We want to develop a unified admissions process so that these students come in knowing that they're joint program immediately and not learning that sophomore or junior year. And we want to re-examine the current curriculum and create our own ideal curriculum, our 3D curriculum that will emphasize areas of emphasis and entrepreneurship and professional development. Through this, we want to create an innovative Friday course to help define that professional development. So through that, we want to establish that 1 credit course that gets you out of academia and into the professional world. RTP is a great area for expansion in technology and all sorts of different research. So we want to get students involved in that locally here, now in their undergraduate program. So we want to get them out of the classroom and into industry. We want to provide a structured way to connect students with the industry and research experience. In the undergraduate program, 80% of our students participate in research, so we want to get that level even higher and also get them outside of the university doing research experiences all over the place. Currently, we have an I4 where people go and present their senior design projects, and this attracts all sorts of business leaders from the RTP area and beyond to see what sort of ideas are coming out of our joint program. We think this is a great way to foster our professional development and connection to the community, and think it can only get better in the future. And our last pillar is community. First and foremost, it's community within ourselves. We want to be connected through NC State and UNC, so we want to do that at the student level. So we have a biomedical engineering club, student-led and student-organized, and we want those to have collaborative meetings now. So these students know we're a joint program through and through, and that's based on the students' participation and not only at the faculty level. Through that, we can create it through joint admissions and orientation so that these students learn about all these things very early on, and so they can start collaboration in their early years, freshman year, sophomore year, and by the time they're seniors, they've gone through so much collaboration, they can do truly innovative solutions in technology. We want to establish a strong alumni network so that these students that are coming out, creating these great things like Saga, are coming back and informing students on how to be entrepreneurial, how to innovate in these different scientific fields, so that we can be powerful students beyond the classroom. And last, the RTP Frontier Center. There's so much great work going on in there, so much innovation through professional development, and we think that we can really tap into that with our students. Right now we have a Rotary Scholarship to send 2 kids from State and 2 students from UNC to these business leaders, sit down with them once a week for lunch, and really learn about what's going on in the community and how to connect that not only to those 4 students, but also the rest of the undergraduate program as a whole. We think if we really truly integrate this professional development, that idea that we have through these different seminars and through these different programs, and we join that with the community through NC State and really have an eye on academic excellence the entire time, we can truly create a local and global impact for our program. So we know none of this would be possible without the UNC Provost and Chancellor. We know that not only these 6 things that we've listed, but so many more are done through their funding, and we really want to thank them for expanding our program over the past couple of years. We're really excited for where this is going, and we really think this program could be great in the future, more great than it is now.
Yep, so I second John. We just want to thank the UNC Provost and Chancellor because we know they've been investing in BME, and we're working very hard to do a blockbuster job.
Thank you.
To open up for any questions, comments, Carol?
I just want to say you make me so happy. You make all of us happy. And the reason I say that is that I think it is a dream for everybody in higher ed to see this kind of immersion in your excitement. You know, I'm also thinking, my goodness, you're students, and look what you're going to do in another few years. And then as I said, every time I meet with Nancy, I feel invigorated. But what's really exciting, I think, is this is kind of a North Carolina special opportunity. I do think this is a great example of two great universities getting through that bridge. But what I was going to also say to students is getting this done in a year, whoa, that's really fast. So I'm just going to ask you, what projects are you both working on right now that you have all your spare time that you launched a whole new curriculum?
Well, in our senior design is probably our main focus. I know I'm specifically in the cardiology. I'm right now with my mentor in a cardiology catheter lab. So we're in the needs identification stage, so we're very early on. But just being in the hospital, learning from our mentor, we really think the sky's the limit for creating any sort of technology that we could come up with.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't know you were also in the cardiac cath lab, because funny story, I'm in the cardiac cath lab at Rex. So, you know, we have an opportunity really to shadow a world-class surgeon. We're there once a week. You know, he's placing stents and doing all kinds of amazing things. And so we really love our senior design program. It's really innovative and unique. It gives us a chance to get into hospitals and work with clinicians and identify our own set of problems and develop need statements. And you see some of the results that come from those senior design programs.
Trustees, questions?
Yeah, I have a question. Nancy, a couple of years ago when you were developing your strategic plan, and you did a wonderful job with that, and I think Chuck and I were part of your advisory group. One of the challenges that you had was having to navigate the bureaucracy of two universities. You've got half your faculty at state, you've got half your faculty here, you had financial systems and tenure systems, and you know, and while they're similar, they're different. Where are you with that, and how can we help you with that? Because you know you work in unique space, and so you almost need unique rules. And so, where are you?
Right. So we've had a number of good outcomes for the strategic planning effort in that area. The first is the two provosts have been meeting with the BME chair and the three deans regularly every semester so that we can identify various problems and work through them. Probably the area that we're farthest on is education. With the provost's support at both universities, we've convened I would call it a BME educational team. So what we're working to do, and you saw a little bit of it in their presentation, the two provosts, and we've got the two registrars talking, the IT people talking, the financial aid people talking, the admissions people talking. We held a half-day retreat in NC Biotech with all of these high-level sort of administrative people coming in, and it was pretty amazing. We had about 30 very high-level people, and this was spearheaded by Provost's office working together. And so we broke up the problems into 3 different categories, and now we have working committees in each category. So we want our students, as soon as they register at one university, to pop up as a student at the other university. We want them, when they pay tuition at one university, to have full facilities access and opportunities access at the other universities. So we still have barriers to overcome, but the provosts have been amazingly supportive in getting the two universities together so that we can actually build one single functioning entity. And I think what we're going to do is break a lot of barriers so that we're not the last one. We'll just smooth the pathway and everybody can come right after us. And then our next level is the faculty. We really want them to be full faculty at both universities, so that's sort of our next step. We've been hammering away at. Other things that we've done is joint fundraising. We have an MOU, and we actually just hired a development person that'll do joint fundraising between UNC and NC State. And I think that's an amazing thing. I actually learned that was really truly breaking the mold to have someone work across the two universities. So we've got a whole list of benchmarks that we've just been hammering away. And our joint undergraduate degree, we thought we'd take 2 or 3 years to get it, and it just went boom, boom, boom. With the support of the chancellor and the provost of both universities, we had it in no time. So we were actually scrambling to keep up with the universities in some way. So I think it's been pretty great, and we've made a lot of changes, and I really appreciate you and Chuck's participation in the strategic planning effort.
Allie Ray.
I'd like to make one comment and tell our visitors here that since I've been on the board, I've taken a lot of grief about my red tie, my red boots, and my past studies at state, but this kind of thing, I think, vindicates me because it is certainly good when you can pool your resources to come out with the common good in the end, and I appreciate it.
Right, right. Thank you. And so that's exactly what we want to do.
So, Nancy, thank you for doing this and for everything that you're doing. I think one thing that needs to be pointed out, and you've thanked Lowry, but Lowry has had a big play in this and has driven this thing. This has been a vision of his for a long time, and certainly couldn't do it without the provost and the chancellor, but you got to have a dream and somebody believe in your dream. And the nice part about this is in a world where there isn't a lot of collaboration, this is great for this state, and this is typical of what is possible, and that's what's beautiful about this thing. So I hope we stay behind it and see this thing become an engine for the state that really is possible. So thank you all.
Right, thank you.
I actually have one more question I'm dying to ask, and I don't know if it's probably for the students, but it's also for you, Dr. Albert. I mean, this is brand new. I'd love to know a little bit about how we're going to attract just the top students now in the state of North Carolina and maybe in the country. I know you're just getting started, but can you talk a little bit about, because I'm very competitive, so I want to make sure we get more students just like these two, and just kind of give me a sense of the pipeline or how you're going to attract these students.
Right. So we are actually attracting, I'd say, some of the best students at both universities. We have blockbuster students, and John and Michaela are but two examples. I mean, our depth and student quality is amazing. And so I think just when the word got out that we were going to have a joint degree, UNC and NC State's logos were going to be on both one. This blockbuster health profession school, fine arts, humanities, and then the blockbuster sort of engineering technology school, we're going to get married. The word, it just went wild, like wildfire. And so we are increasingly getting more and more recognition in some ways through word of mouth, but we're also working very hard on communications. And I would say this is the fastest growing major, so we've not had trouble attracting students. We have been scrambling to keep up with our very rapidly growing student enrollment, actually. And that's one of the things the chancellor and provost has helped us with, is expand to match the numbers of faculty, the infrastructure to match the growing interest. And I'll let the students also comment.
Yeah, sure. I would totally agree with that. Biomedical engineering is a quickly growing field, very innovative, and so it's very, very attractive to students already, and then you join these two universities together with a joint department and all the opportunities that brings about, and it really just grew like wildfire. And I'll just say for NC State, it's a very large college of engineering, but the biomedical engineering department in particular is one of the most competitive to get into in the college because students realize that opportunity, and so our students are what make our program so successful.
And I'll just briefly touch on that. She said we're attracting more students than we can handle. I know that my year, we have around 50 people graduating this year. And freshmen this year, Dr. Goldberg told me there are currently 129 that have declared BME as their major. So in only 3 years, we've almost tripled our numbers, which is amazing. And it's the marriage that makes it perfect. BME is a marriage of medicine, engineering, all sorts of different things. And that's truly what we are accomplishing between NC State and UNC. So you can do anything you want with it. You can go into industry and biomedical engineering. You can go into any other industry field. I know seniors last year that are doing aeronautical engineering at Boeing or doing electrical engineering at IBM. And then you can go, I know people that are going into School of Medicine here, School of Medicine's all over the country. So there's really anything you can do with this program, and I think that's really attracting students from everywhere.
Just one additional question on top of that. Given the fact that you've got such a fantastic program, and given the fact that you probably don't have to recruit, the natural question is, do you find much interest on the part of students at the School of Science and Math?
We do have students coming from the School of Science and Math. We sort of collect the best students from all around the state, and so the students of science and math are actually very part of our high-quality student body also.
I'd like to thank you for the collaborative effort the real beneficiaries are the citizens of the state of North Carolina. So thank you.